I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you're probably a fan of Pokemon. Maybe played the mainline games, watched a few episodes here and there, but how familiar are you with the Pokemon manga? I used to read them a lot as a kid, and now I'm playing through each character in the series to relive their adventures. Right now, we're on Ruby, and at first, I was a little worried his team might be too weak. You see, Ruby wasn't much of a battler, instead preferring the new feature added to Hoenn, the Pokemon contest. So aside from playing through the game as a Hardcore Nuzlocke, I also want to get a Master rank to make sure we stay true to Ruby's character. Let's see how it goes. This is my attempt at a Pokémon Emerald Hardcore Nuzlocke using Ruby's Manga team. First though, we need to pick up our starter Mudkip from Professor Birch. In the manga, Ruby obtained his starter in a pretty unconventional way. He found Professor Birch being attacked by two Mightyena, which makes more sense than a Poochyena or a Zigzagoon. After a little chase, Ruby ends up falling off a cliff, but luckily, a mysterious person saves him, and this person turns out to be Sapphire. She has like, a Tarzan getup with leaves for clothes, but without any time to breathe, the two of them are face to face with a giant Seviper. Honestly, Seviper, underrated design. They grab Professor Birch's Pokeballs to defend themselves, sending out Mudkip and Torchic to take him out. You guys will soon notice that the manga takes a lot of creative liberties compared to the games. For example, Ruby's already got 3 Pokemon before he even gets his starter. He has Nana the Poochyena, Kiki the Skitty, and Rara the Ralts, so of course, we add them to our team as well. Rara actually has a modest nature, and that's gonna come in handy later. For now, it's time to challenge Roxanne. With Mumu on our team though, I suspect that we're gonna do pretty well. I don't lead with him, instead I send out Nana. You see, although I can definitely sweep through Roxanne with Mumu's water guns, if we gain too much XP and grow to level 17, Mumu will evolve after the battle and miss his opportunity to learn Mud Shot at level 16. So I led with Nana to take care of her 2 Geodudes because, let's face it, they can't really do anything. A few bites later and both of them are taken care of. Nosepass comes out, and after a few water guns, our battle is won, we level up as planned, evolve into Marshtomp, and learn Mud Shot. With Roxanne defeated, we continue forward to rescue Pico from Team Aqua and sail with Mr. Briny to Dewford Town. Ruby actually had a run-in with Briny in the manga when the old man rescued him out of the ocean. There's no new encounters here, and Rara doesn't evolve into Kirlia until level 20, which is 1 level above our level cap. Nana evolves into Mightyena, but come on, it's a fighting gym. I'm not sending her out. Rara's sort of our only answer to Brawly, so we better not screw this up. Brawly leads with Machop, so I send out Rara. Confusion is a 2-shot, which lets Machop take out a huge chunk of our HP with Seismic Toss. Even though we resist his fighting attacks, the way Seismic Toss works is that it takes the user's level, in this case 16, and it will always do 16 damage to us. Taking out Machop gives us enough XP to level up, and Brawly sends out Meditite. I messed up here because I didn't check the docs, always check the docs by the way, and I switch into Nana on a Focus Punch. Even with Nana's Intimidate, that's a 150 base power, super effective attack. Pretty lucky we lived, huh? If you guys are playing Brawly's fight, you can literally stay in and use any attack to disrupt his Focus Punch. It's basically free. Don't do what I did. To correct our mistake, I switch into Mumu to tank the Focus Punch before taking him out with Water Guns. For his Makuhita, I have Rara come back in and take him out with a few confusions. We had some misplays there, but lesson learned for next time, right? Rara also evolves after the battle, so our team is looking stronger. With Brawly taken care of, we can head over to Slateport to clear out Team Aqua before heading through the routes to Mauville. Real quick though, we stopped to catch a Plusle named Poo Poo. Shout out to Ruby, man, he didn't give Plusle a nickname, but the rest of his team has a pretty obvious nickname theme. In the manga, Ruby and Sapphire found Plusle and Minun on the abandoned ship. I don't want to use him too much cause, he's a Plusle, so no thank you. By the way, you guys want to guess how the Watson fight goes? With our 3rd gym badge, we blitz through the routes to stop Team Magma at the top of Mount Chimney. By the way, remember this route. We're coming back here soon for something very important. Team Magma is a pushover as always, which brings us through the dangerous jagged pass to Lava Ridge Town. My favorite place in Hoenn, gotta show some love to my bathing grannies. Okay, I know earlier we swept through Watson pretty easily, but Flannery's got some tricks to stop us. Of course, Numel easily goes down, but Slugma can tank a water gun and set up a sunny day. With the sunlight up, our water type attacks now do half their original damage, which you can clearly see after Flannery heals. That's why I was so careful in the Roxanne fight, because now we can switch to Mudshot to take out Slugma. Okay, some quick math here. Water Gun is 4 times effective, so at 40 base power, times 4 times 1.5 stab boost, divided by 2 for the sunlight, is 120 power. Mudshot is 55 base power, times 2 for the super effective, times 1.5 stab boost, is 165 power. It's not enough to take out Camerupt, but it does a sizable amount. The Ugly Cow goes for an Attract, so I switch into Nana before switching back to Mumu. This shakes off the Attract, so we can outspeed and take him out with the Water Gun. The sun's gone, so that's 240 base power now. Flannery's last Pokemon is Torkoal, who sets up a sunny day and then goes for an Attract. You know me, I like my dangerous plays, so I go for another Mudshot, which connects and takes him out, winning us the battle. Alright, you know what time it is. Time to take out my dad. He leads with Spinda, so I start with Kiki in her first major battle as a Delcatty. Normal against normal, let's see how this goes. Norman's slacking will be really difficult to break, so we need a plan. First, I lower Spinda's attack with Charm. Each time we get confused by Teeter Dance, I switch into Nana for an Intimidate before switching back to Kiki. By doing this over and over again, we can weaken Spinda's facades while Nana is immune to his Psybeams. We take him out and Norman sends out Slacking. A little early for us, but I switch into Kiki as he wastes a turn going for counter. Now, Slacking's gimmick is that he attacks for one turn and then can't move for the next. So on the turn that he can't move, we lower his attack with Charm to make him more manageable to deal with. A switch back into Nana lowers his speed again, as Slacking only goes for a Yawn. Now back to Kiki, Charm, Attract, rinse and repeat. Now because of the physical special split, Feint Attack is a special attack, but as long as we're careful, we'll be okay. Then, another pivot to Poo Poo. Yeah, that's right, I leveled her up for her support in this tough battle. We paralyze Slacking with a Thunder Wave, then start lowering his defenses with Fake Tears. I was so tempted to encore him into counter, but I have no idea how that interaction works with the loafing turns. Then, we switch to Spark, which again, because of the physical special split, it's a special attack, and we nearly one-shot him. Slacking actually gets a facade boost from the paralysis, which I may have forgotten, oops. But we can tank it and take him out with a few Sparks. Who would have thought that Poo Poo would deliver the killing blow? Norman sends out Vigoroth, so that's a Thunder Wave, then we switch into Nana for the Intimidate. Did I forget about the facade boost again? Yes, maybe. But we're saved by Mumu, who thankfully can take him out with a Mudshot. Lanoon is last, but we can finish up with Rara, who had evolved into Gardevoir on our way over. That was definitely a really fun fight. It felt like each member was chipping away at Slacking until we could finally take him out. Defeating Norman gives us Surf, so now we can get our last team members. We cross the water and continue to the Weather Institute. After defeating Team Aqua, the scientists award us with Fofo, the cast form. In the manga, Fofo used to belong to Mr. Stone, Stephen Stone's father. Ruby trained her for smart contests since she could change the weather at any moment to adapt to the situation. Also, on Route 119, we can catch Feebas. Fifi the Feebas. Man, I hate this encounter. Okay, you most likely haven't had to hunt for Feebas, so let me explain how stupid it is. You can only catch Feebas on this route. In all of Hoenn, the game that was given a 7.8 out of 10 for having too much water, this is the only place you can catch it. Okay, there's a lot of water, but you can just surf back and forth, right? Wrong. You need to fish for Feebas on each tile, because only 6 of the tiles will have Feebas, and these 6 tiles are random. And Feebas only has a 50% chance of showing up anyway, so you could just skip over the tile if you're unlucky. Well, we eventually get lucky, but that took a really long time. Hey, if you guys want to support my time wasting, feel free to leave a like so the YouTube algorithm can be kind to this video. By the way, we got extremely lucky because Rara's Modest ability from earlier, yeah, that synchronized onto Feebas. I'll explain that more when we get to Lily Cove, but for now, we've got our full team. Fifi, you stay in the box though. Alright, Winona time. I'm definitely scared of Altaria, but we've got a plan. She leads with Swablu, and I send out Rara. I try to set up a Calm Mind, but Swablu goes for a Perish Song. We can take her out, but since Tropius tanks our Psychic, we gotta swap out. No one can really tank a Solar Beam, so Kiki's gotta take one for the team. Winona heals, and I switch into Fofo. Okay, time for the Weather Wars to begin. We outspeed and set up a sunny day, which lets us resist the incoming solar beam. Now that the sun is set up, we can use a super effective fire-type Weather Ball to take her out. Winona's next Pokemon is her Pelipper, who needs to go for her court-mandated Protect as we switch to Poo-Poo. Another Spark, and that's a one-shot. Okay, time for Altaria. No Terra Ground, right? Good. We get off a Thunder Wave, reducing Altaria's speed as we switch into Nana to lower her attack. I try to go for Paraflinch strats since the chance for a flinch from Bite stacks with the Paralysis chance. But this Altaria, man, she dodges the flinch and sets up 2 Dragon Dances. We are pretty screwed, but not screwed enough. I switch into Poo-Poo on a resisted Aerial Ace, and since we outspeed, I use Encore to force Altaria to continue using Aerial Ace. Now that we know for sure what she's gonna use, I switch into Nana for another Intimidate, then switch to Rara to outspeed and take her out with a few Psychics. A few Shockwaves dispatch Skarmory, which wins us the battle. So far, this team has been working really well together. But it's time to box you, Poo-Poo. You've been great, but since we can make our way to Lily Cove, it's time to get our Milotic. Remember this route? After we get Surf, we can pick up 6 Kelpsy Berries. With this old man, we can cook up something called Pokeblocks. Basically, the different colors represent the contest categories, and the Kelpsy Berry is the best for beauty. This old man happens to throw in a Chesto Berry, which also contributes to that. So after doing the minigame a few times, we have enough blocks to max out Fifi's beauty. Okay, in the manga, Ruby didn't really like Fifi. Since he was so into contests, this ugly, useless thing wasn't cutting it. My parents used to say something similar to me, but in a fight against Archie and Maxie, the 2 opposing leaders teamed up to beat the crap out of poor Fifi. Despite all this, Fifi's unwavering loyalty held true as she smiled at Ruby, and in that moment, Ruby realized that true beauty comes from within the heart. This moment causes Fifi to evolve into the beautiful Milotic, teaming up with Sapphire to take out Archie and Maxie. By the way, look at Tropius and Milotic together. I can't wait to use Sapphire's team. Back in our adventures, Fifi's beauty has been maxed out, so we can evolve her into Milotic. With our new team member, we clear through the Magma hideout, then the Aqua hideout, then the Rocket hideout? Oh, sorry, wrong game. With Admin Matt defeated, we can go back and challenge the gym, or we can try a contest first. Lily Cove is a contest central, and with our beautiful Fifi, I think we've got a decent shot. I'm only going for beauty cause there's no way I'm doing all that berry stuff again for all 5 categories.
It's a no for me, dog.
Okay, here's how the contests work. You need to work your way up in the ranks, so we gotta start at the normal level. The first round is general voting, and since our beauty stat is so high, we end up blowing that stat out of the water. Then it's the appeals round. The general rule is try to use moves of the category you're competing in to win hearts. So for Fifi, we're only using beauty moves. There's some other interactions, like moves can take away hearts, so Safeguard for example will protect myself while getting 2 hearts. Anyway, round 2 is a clean sweep. Poor Alec, his slack off didn't win anything. That was a pretty good introduction to contests, but for now, we gotta continue our gym challenge. For you contest enjoyers, don't worry, we're coming back for the master rank. Alright, Tate and Liza time. Their gimmick is double battles, so I lead with Fofo and Fifi. Fofo sets up a Rain Dance to boost all our water attacks, since 3 out of 4 of their Pokemon are weak to Surf. Also, in Generation 3, Surf does not hit your allies, so a few Surfs from Fifi and our newly evolved Moo later, and that's a pretty easy victory. Xatu is actually at the perfect HP where 2 Surfs perfectly brought him to the red, so Tate and Liza would waste a Hyper Potion each turn. Either way, that's badge 7 acquired. Alright, Space Center stuff, blah blah blah. We get a cool double battle with Steven, but all the battles are pretty simple. Steven gives us the HM for Dive, which lets us make it to the Seafloor Cavern. Oh, shoot, looks like Team Aqua didn't make it. The submarine imploded before it could make it to Kyogre. The remaining survivors are taking shelter inside Seafloor Cavern, but we can easily clear through them and stop Archie. Unfortunately, we are too late, and he frees Kyogre, causing the real Weather Wars to begin, as Groudon and Kyogre begin to battle at Teutopolis City. Story, Sky Pillar, Rayquaza comes down, and the world is saved. In the manga, their confrontation actually ends with Norman dying, in Ruby's arms. Man, that is messed up. Well, now that the day is saved, it's time to finish our gym quest. Juan is basically a free win, as Rara is able to set up a substitute and start stacking Calm Minds. Shockwave, Psychic, Shockwave, and another Psychic can easily dispatch his team. Kingdra almost got away with a double team, but that's why we have Shockwave, to bypass accuracy. Alright, before we take on the Elite Four, I made a promise to win the Master Rank contest. I'm gonna skip the super and hyper tiers since I use the same strategy. So basically, some moves are linked together for extra hearts. In our case, if I use dive and then follow it up immediately with the surf, we get a ton of points. You can see it here when the second move is highlighted red. With this strategy in mind, we enter our master contest and actually get some good opponents. We've got Electrode, Gyarados, and Pichu. This contest was pretty crazy. Electrode just straight up explodes at one point, which gets him a ton of hearts. He's locked out of attacking the next turn, but bro just blew himself up. There's kids in the audience here. When the voting starts, you can see how Rodlick's beauty was actually greater than ours, but our appeals round let us pull ahead, winning us the coveted Master Rank ribbon. Alright, time to make our way to the Elite Four. In Victory Road, we actually get jumped by Wally cause I thought this battle was at the end of the cave. It's fine though, our team is pretty strong at this point. With everything squared away, we make it to the Pokemon League and get ready to challenge the Elite Four. Sydney is first, but he's underwhelming as usual. He leads with Mightyena, but Mumu can take care of him with a few surfs. Cacturne comes out next, but we've got Ice Beam for coverage, which can easily one-shot him. Shiftry comes out next, but he doesn't have any Ice-type moves. He tanks an Ice Beam, which gets the freeze, but then immediately defrosts to hit us with a Torment. We take him out, and for his incoming Crawdaunt, I switch into Fifi to take him out. Absol is last, but a single surf does the trick. Next up is Phoebe, but Nana's got the perfect strategy. Taunt can shut down her gimmicks, forcing her to use a weak Shadow Punch. Then, we can just crunch our way through the rest of her team. A quick taunt for her Sableye can stop her double team, but we start getting a little low, so I switch into Fifi. Then, a Surf takes her out, Mumu's Earthquake takes out Banette, and Dusclops, same deal. That's halfway through, and our team's doing a pretty good job. For Glacia, you wanna guess how we win? It's Substitute plus Calm Mind. Alright, last one up is Drake. We set up a Sunny Day for his Kingdra before tanking a Rock Tomb and switching to Ice Beam for the one-shot. Flygon comes out next, but our pivot game is strong. I switch into Nana for the Intimidate, then I switch into Fifi to tank the Flamethrower before finishing Flygon off with an Ice Beam. Altaria comes out next, and no Terra Steel, right? Good. We recover up a bit before taking him out with a single Ice Beam. Kingdra's up next, and he takes a few Ice Beams to kill, which gives him the opportunity to set up Dragon Dance. On the next turn, he paralyzes us with Body Slam, then gets the immediate para. I pivot into Nana for the Intimidate, then to Mumu on a weak Surf. A single Earthquake later, and Kingdra finally goes down. Salamence is last, but I need a clean switch in. I send out Kiki, who tanks a Dragon Claw, and on the next turn, Salamence goes for a Rock Slide. And we live on 3 HP. Okay, nice job, Kiki. You can live to see another day. I switch to Nana for the Intimidate on a soft crunch, then into Rara on a critical hit Dragon Claw. We've got to outspeed and land the Psychic, and with my fingers crossed, we go for it. And we land the attack, taking out Salamence and winning us the final battle. Alright Wallace, it's time. I'm about to beat you with a Delcatty and a Mightyena on my team. You know, I was doubting this team, but I really think we've got a chance to pull through. Fofo comes in and uses Thunderbolt in case Wailord tries to use Water Spout. Wailord sets up the rain instead, so we can take him out on the next turn. Ludicolo comes in, so I set up the Sun before switching to Flamethrower. He gets some health back from a Leech Seed, which means another Flamethrower can't get the 2-shot. I switch into Rara, and we can abuse the Ludicolo's Leech Seed by setting up a Substitute. Since our sub blocks Leech Seed, we can safely set up Calm Mind before taking out Ludicolo with a Shockwave, bypassing all his double teams. Tentacruel, Whiscash, Gyarados, and last but not least, his Milotic. Everyone falls as we conquer Wallace and become the Hoenn champion. One last challenge in our way, and that's the secret boss fight Steven in Meteor Falls. While I take him out, I wanted to say thank you guys for being here and watching my video. If you'd like to support me, a like is always appreciated. That's probably the best way to support besides watching my videos. I've also started channel memberships if you want to support me there too. As always, I appreciate you guys for being here. Enjoy me beating Steven, and until next time, this has been Magnus. I'll catch you guys later.